Hello, what's up guys? This is Jouni Juurila from Florbal Made Simple and we are back today talking about scoring abilities on Florbal. This topic came to our mind because someone in the comments was asking for tips on scoring, and of course every time you are hoping or wishing for something in the comment section, we deliver. So today we will be talking about scoring in Florbal, how do the top players score in Florbal, and what things you should take into account on scoring and improving your abilities to score. In this video, I will be not blabbering that much on the clips. You can figure out the things by themselves, but we go through a couple items of the key items that influence on the topic that you see in the slide above. And the first one, really important on scoring. When are the goalies most vulnerable? So what are the moments you need to strike and be ruthless when you are attempting to score? When the goalie is moving sideways. So when the goalie is attempting to move from post to post in a sideways direction, it is harder to maintain readiness to make saves. So you should look for signs that they are unprepared to cover some space in the net. So, for example, if the goalie is keeping one hand at the floor or ground, then they are not able to cover as much of the net. So, seek for those moments. And how are they positioned? Are they completely direct and straight in the moment and big in the moment, or are they a little bit of crouching down and a little bit slower in the positioning? Shooting before they make it to the front post. So if you get a horizontal pass and you can shoot before they make it to the front post, you will have plenty of open net in front of you. Shooting to the far side when they are moving to the front post. If they are able to move fast enough to cover your shooting angle, you can still shoot to the far side, so to the side that they have moved from. Once they've shown their intention. So if you are able to make the goalie do the first move, then you have an advantage and you can utilize that after it. So basically, if the goalie is showing his cards, his intention, what he's going to do, then you have an upper hand in the situation. The side-to-side movements, as we talked about earlier, that is harder for them to manage in the net. So if they are moving from one side to another, then you have an advantage because they have the movement momentum into one side. If you can force them to move to the next side, they will have to create another movement momentum, which is hard for goalies. And then if there is something blocking their vision, their own defender or our attacker, then they are vulnerable. Then to the most basic and common situation. So when the goalie has positioned him or herself well in the situation, you can still beat him or her with your shot. So you just need to look at where the open space is in the net and then beat them directly with your shot, and few clips demonstrating that. Then in the next clips, the goalie has been playing the other post, but then the ball moves to another side and they need to move along with the same pace as the ball. If the pass is fast enough and your shot is fast enough, you can beat the goalie to the side that he or she is attempting to close. And this is the opposite of it, finishing to the corner from where the goalie has moved. If the goalie is still moving into any direction, towards the ball, sideways, whatever, it is harder for them to maintain readiness to save. So look for the moments when the goalie is moving and utilize those. Look for the moments when the goalie is unprepared to make a save. For example, one hand or two hands are on the floor or anything. Look for signs when he or she is unprepared and you can catch him or her off guard. The goalie should always be the last one to show his or her intentions, but if they are showing their intention and playing the first move, you can utilize that with loads of different ways. Use creativity to utilize those moments. This is a cool one. Sometimes the goalie is moving towards you, but you can force him or her to move again sideways, and then they usually are vulnerable. Sometimes it is about having wit and creativity and that you have that sort of sneakiness on your work. So you're fooling the goalie and the defenders to score. You can look like a shooting threat most of the time when you have the ball, and you should look like that you are able to shoot from every single positioning. And when you're carrying the ball, you should look like a threat as much as time as possible. So it is harder for the goalie to anticipate when the shot takes off. So that will keep them on their toes. Then it's also harder to anticipate whether you pass or shoot or continue to carry. If you look like a threat constantly, it is harder to anticipate those moments. Sometimes, if the shooter turns the ball into a positioning, for example, a little further away from their body or a little more backwards, it is harder for anybody to anticipate, is there a shot coming? So that is and creates that unexpectancy. And then mixing it up between different kind of shooting styles. Sometimes shoot a snapshot, one timer, out sweeper. If you can mix it up, you are way harder to anticipate. Here the player Hemerka was able to get the shooting readiness on directly when the moment he got the ball and received the ball. So try to get that shooting threat and ability straight on when you get the ball. In the next clip, the goalie was expecting a shot, but the positioning, how the player turned and the placement where he was shooting, that was a little unorthodox. So look for those little odd unorthodox ways on shooting. Then it doesn't need to be a mile-long outsweeper. What I mean by this a hot trend, a hot topic on floorball today is to make those really, really long curves with the ball and shoot from the outsweeper. Those are very good situations where you can hide your choice and hide your shot, but if you are only using those, you are leaving bunch of goals to the table. So utilize all the ways that you can shoot. The one-timers, of course, are the fastest and the best way to beat the goalie. So if you can get the goalie into sideways movement and then shoot a one-timer, that is the fastest way to crank up your scoring numbers. Then also don't neglect the other ways, the sweeper shots or so-called drag shots, snap shots, slap shots, in sweepers and backhanders. And add up your ability to shoot from different positionings. No matter where the pass is coming, no matter if the pass is perfect, you should be able to shoot from the front foot, from the back foot, from both of the sides. If the pass is coming little off the exactly perfect target, you should still be able to shoot from a wide range of positionings. So try to add up to the range from which you can shoot. And I know you guys, you want to shoot those outsweepers, those long outsweepers that roll back and forth on Instagram Reels and TikTok. So this is a small tip on how to shoot those better. If there is a huge spin on the ball or a curve on the ball and it is hard to shoot directly from that forehand positioning, you can get the curve of the ball by lifting the stick off the ball for a brief moment and then getting it back, and the curve or spin will decrease.
Från Sankell på nytt. Ekengren för Andersson.
Laura Pakarinen maalin tekijänä ja selkeästi toimiva muutos nyt Loistolle myös tuo.
I told you I'm not here to mess around, and you've been acting too mysterious. You didn't think I'd go, but do you know?
You're about to see two awesome sweeper shots. So the lesson is this: you don't always have to put the ball way behind your body to cover the ball. Before the shot, you can just shoot a sweeper shot with a small movement, turning the ball a little more backwards and then a sweeper shot.
Lite slarvigt emellanåt när det ska passas. Mara med ytterligare liknande passning. När Stjernbergs matchar som så ytterligare. Spelartyper och kvaliteten som finns inne. Nilsson skjuter ut säck. Fox får ganska mycket gott.
Then the good habits of top-level scorers in top-level floorball. Yet again, a long list, but as many of these that you can tick off that box, you are more versatile goal scorer. So scanning before the first touch and scanning towards the future, the next step. So you need to be able to anticipate that what you are going to do before you get the first touch. Scanning the goalie before the touch, and sometimes check even before the shot takes off. So you need to be able to first, before getting the ball, to have a vision of what spaces is the goalie trying to take off from you. And then just before, some people just before the goal is scored or the shot takes off, they still check one more time or two more times that where do they place the shot. So that is called a critical scan with a more fancier word, but try to check at least once, maybe a couple of times before shooting. Then those quick releases. So there is not time to hold the ball in your blade and stick for many seconds, or not even a second in many cases. Take a quick hold of the ball and then release it in a fast pace. Do not overcomplicate the scoring situation or think while you're shooting. You need to be able to practice that in your practices and get as many of repetitions in a way that you don't have to shoot, that you don't have to think on those shooting situations. There is no time to think in shooting situations. Just few quick looks and scans and then act. Very fast receive, flex, release chain. We will talk about that in a while. Chest direction and readiness to score is also a very important factor. So you need to be in a chest position where you can shoot the ball in a fast pace, and your legs, your whole body needs to be positioned towards the goal to be able to shoot fast. Then the right timing and rhythm before receiving the ball. You need to be able to find those time windows when you can come to the space with the right timing. You need to be able to know the habits of the goalie. So what the goalie is usually intending to do, and if you know those already, you know where the weak points are. So look how the goalies are acting and which goalie is trying to play in that way and which plays in that way. Positioning in goal scoring areas, you need to go to the positionings where most of the goals are scored in floorball. And turning the ball into a better angle. Sometimes when you are in a shooting position, you can turn the ball, for example, with the backhand 10 centimeters more towards the center, and you have way more net open in front of you. Great scorers are able to find the right timing to come to the spaces. They sometimes go standing still for a brief moment in front of the goal to get the defender standing still, and then they find the right time window and rhythm to score. This is an important one on how are you able to turn the ball even more to a better scoring angle. And in these following next two clips, you will see exactly that. The player turns the ball into a better angle to shoot. We were talking about this earlier. Great scorers are able to take even the harder retrievals of the ball and receive the ball in a harder situation and shoot directly from the harder situation with a quick release, or turn the ball back from that harder position into a better one and score from there. So you need to be able to get those harder passes to you and score from those as well.
Ottelun Turun Kupittaalla 7-6 jatkoajalla. Molemmilla joukkueilla tässä oli mahdollisuuksia kyllä ratkoa tätä kamppailua, mutta lopulta se on Erika Koskio.
Pelutuksessa nyt SPV:llä kuitenkin vapaa lyönti. Hakanen kääntää keskiselle ja sinne menee. Juuso Keskinen avaa maalihanan. 8:31 pelattu toista erää. SPV:n ykkönen iskee. Maalintekijä Juuso Keskinen. 5. kertaa tähän kevääseen.
In the next clips you will see the attackers having the correct body positioning, chest positioning, pelvis positioning towards the goal before they receive the pass, and that way they are able to shoot fast. You need to position yourself in a way that your blade will be the most open and the angle from the blade is the widest as possible. Then you need to be able to shoot past the blocker. You can shoot by going totally past the blocker, shooting before the blocker, shooting between his legs, or shooting between the space between the stick and the leg. No matter, you need to get the ball to the net. This is probably one of the most important things in goal scoring these days. So I call this receive, flex and release chain. This does not mean that the flex part is when you put your biceps out and show it to the crowd. No, it is about having the pressure on the stick to have some force in your shot. Some people like to use that more, some people less, but in the end you need to have power in the shot, so find your own way. And to make it simple, if you can do all these parts, receive, flex and release in a fast manner, your shot will take off fast. If the passes are played to you in a good spaces and with a good timing, the matter of the fact that do you get a fast shot out of there comes down to your own individual ability to receive the ball, have the power in it and release it fast. Those all need to happen in a very fast pace, almost simultaneously. But it all comes down on how fast you can do all of these in the field. Receive, flex and release fast.
Nilsson igen.
So let's sum it up now, the key takeaways. While you are training in your own time to improve your shot, attempt to shoot always from motion. Don't just go standing still and shooting from standing or jogging. Shoot from motion and from as high speed as possible. Try to take the receivers of the ball in motion and then turn it into a shooting position in motion. Learn to make the fast scans towards the goal before you're shooting so you know where the space is. You need to be able to see the space, recognize it and then place the ball there. Don't think when shooting, just act. Many of the best shooters and goal scorers say that it all just comes from their instincts. So you need to be thinking of where are you shooting, but when you are performing the shot, don't think, just act. And that ability to do it naturally comes through practice. Widen the range of positions that you can shoot from, and in the actual exercises with your own team, actually attempt to beat the goalie every time you're shooting. Don't just go in there and have some kind of shot. Attempt to beat the goalie and want to beat the goalie. That's a key instruction. And then, if the pace is high in your own team training and you push your own individual speed from which you try to take the receivers of the ball and release it and so on, if those all are done in a high speed, you won't be overwhelmed by the challenge in the game. If the team practice pace is somehow lower and it doesn't match up to the game, you can still improve your own speed, individual speed on the situation, how fast you take the touch, how fast you come to the situation, and thus you are more prepared and won't be overwhelmed in the games. And hey, that was it. Thank you for your time, thank you for watching, and hopefully this gave some more tips to you on how to score in floorball games. If you liked the video, please like the video, subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram so you will keep yourself posted every time when we release new content. Happy Easter to everybody! and have a good weekend. Bye!